The night felt perfect. Glittering lights draped the ballroom like stars had fallen to earth, and I held Emily's hand tighter than I realized. "To us," I whispered, lifting our glasses. Her smile was radiant, almost blinding, and for a moment I believed we were the only two people in the world. "To us," she echoed, her voice soft, warm, just like it always was. She looked at me with those confident eyes that made my heart stutter, and I felt like I could conquer anything with her beside me. "You look stunning tonight," I said, tracing my thumb along her fingers. "I don't know how I got so lucky." Emily laughed lightly, the sound like wind chimes. "You're exaggerating," she said, but her cheeks flushed pink. "I think we're both lucky." I nodded, smiling. "Yeah, lucky." But then, as she leaned in closer, whispering something about how this night was ours, I heard it. Just for a second. A name. Ryan. I froze, my chest tightening like someone had pressed a fist into it. It was probably nothing. Maybe I imagined it. I tried to shake it off, focusing on the warm weight of her hand, on the sparkling champagne in our glasses. "Hey, you okay?" Emily asked, tilting her head. "You're quiet all of a sudden." Yeah, I'm fine," I said quickly, forcing a smile. "Just thinking about how amazing tonight is." She nodded and rested her head briefly on my shoulder. I felt her warmth, the scent of her perfume, the rhythm of her heartbeat. And yet, that name echoed in my mind. Ryan. Who was he really? I didn't push it. I told myself I'd ask later, but right now, the night was ours. We danced, laughed at old stories, and posed for photos, all smiles and elegance. People complimented us endlessly. "You two are perfect together," they said. And maybe, on the outside, we were. After the celebration, back at our apartment, Emily leaned against me, exhausted but radiant. "I can't believe this is real," she murmured. "I feel like I'm dreaming." "You're not," I said softly, brushing her hair from her face. "It's real. We're real." Her eyes softened and she kissed my cheek. "I'm so happy," she said. Then, almost as an afterthought, she murmured, "Don't forget tonight." I stiffened. Something in my gut twisted, a warning bell I didn't want to hear. I tried to laugh it off. "Don't forget, what?" Emily looked at me, her expression unreadable for a moment. "Nothing, just tonight," she said, her tone light. But it wasn't light. Not for me. Later, alone in the living room, I picked up her phone. I shouldn't have. Curiosity overpowered caution. And then I saw it. A message, short, almost cryptic, "Don't forget tonight." My stomach dropped. I stared at the screen, my mind racing. Who was she texting? Ryan? My chest ached, heavy and suffocating. Every happy moment, every smile I thought was real, now carried a shadow. The room felt colder. The lights dimmer. Even the champagne on the table seemed bitter. I wanted to confront her. I wanted to scream, demand the truth. But I didn't. Not yet. I shoved the phone back, forcing a calm expression, telling myself I was overthinking. Emily had always been honest, hadn't she? And yet, doubt crept in like a slow poison. I couldn't shake it. My heart wanted to trust her, to believe that tonight was just magic, that Ryan was a ghost of a past I had no right to worry about. But my mind screamed otherwise. I sank onto the sofa, staring at the twinkling city lights beyond the window. I held my head in my hands and whispered almost to myself, "What are you hiding, Emily?" She appeared in the doorway, a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Are you coming to bed, or are you going to stare at the city all night?" I forced a smile, standing. "Coming," I said, but inside everything felt wrong. The night of our perfect engagement had a crack in its golden surface, and I didn't know if I'd ever repair it. And yet, I went to bed, holding her hand, telling myself to trust, even when my heart screamed not to. The first shadow had arrived. I woke up with a heavy feeling in my chest, the echo of Emily's smile from last night already feeling wrong. Breakfast was quiet. Emily chatted about mundane things, her voice light, but every time she smiled at me, it felt hollow, like a mask I didn't fully recognize. "You've been quiet all morning," she said, placing a cup of coffee in front of me. "Something on your mind?" I forced a smile. "No, just tired, I guess." She tilted her head, watching me carefully. I felt her gaze, sharp, probing, and it made me uneasy. "Are you sure?" "Yes," I said too quickly. I could feel my pulse in my throat, my own heart betraying me. Throughout the day I noticed small things. Her phone buzzed and she'd instantly hide it behind a book. She'd leave the room for calls, whispering softly when I tried to ask. "Just work stuff," she'd mutter, but her eyes darted away, avoiding mine. I tried not to jump to conclusions, telling myself it was nothing, just paranoia. but the feeling refused to leave. Every smile, every laugh, even the casual touches felt rehearsed. Later Lucas came by. "Man, you look wrecked," he said the second he walked in, glancing at me with those sharp, concerned eyes. "I'm fine," I said quickly, forcing a grin. "Just tired." Lucas didn't buy it. He dropped onto the couch beside me. "Come on, spill it. You've got that something's wrong vibe." "Is it Emily?" I shook my head. "No, it's nothing. Really." Lucas leaned forward, eyes narrowing. "I know that look, man. You're drowning inside and you're too proud to admit it." I said I'm fine, I muttered, running a hand through my hair. "You're not fine. I can see it." "Don't lie to me," he said softly, almost pleading. His words stabbed at me, a mirror reflecting all the fear and confusion I'd been trying to hide. I don't know," I admitted finally, the words tasting bitter. "Something feels off. I can't explain it." Lucas nodded slowly. "Trust your gut, man. You always do. Don't let it slide." Before I could respond, the doorbell rang. Emily's sister, Claire, stepped in with a bright smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Hey. I was in the neighborhood, thought I'd drop by." "Hey, Claire," I said, standing to greet her. Her presence made the room feel smaller, like the walls themselves were pressing in. Emily appeared from the kitchen, her smile wide, forced. "Claire. What a surprise," she said, her tone a little too cheerful. "Just wanted to see how my favorite sister's doing," Claire said casually, glancing between us. I caught a flash in her eyes, something knowing, like she could feel the tension without needing words. We exchanged small talk, but I could feel Emily growing tense, her eyes flicking to me every few seconds. When Claire left half an hour later, Emily exhaled sharply. "Don't tell anyone anything," she said quietly, almost pleading. "I won't," I said, but the words didn't settle my unease. I spent the rest of the day watching her carefully. Every time she laughed at a joke or smiled at me, I searched for cracks, for a hint of the truth hiding behind her charm. And every time I found something missing. I tried to focus on work, on anything but the gnawing dread. My mind ran circles, imagining scenarios, and each one made my chest tighter. She was my fiancée. I wanted to trust her. I wanted to believe that tonight, like every night before, she was mine completely. But doubt had planted itself like a seed in my heart. And the more I watched, the more I realized, Emily wasn't the same girl I thought I knew. Something was off. Something she was hiding. By the time Lucas left, I felt like I'd aged years in a single day. I forced another smile for Emily, pretending everything was fine. She leaned against me briefly, whispering, "You've been distant." "I'm fine," I said again, but this time even I didn't believe it. That smile of hers, it felt like a lie. And I didn't know how long I could pretend to be blind. I couldn't shake the feeling gnawing at my chest all day. Every smile Emily gave me felt like a mask, and every word she spoke left a shadow of doubt. When she said she was going to visit her mother tonight, I felt something tighten inside me. Something told me not to trust her. "Emily, you sure you're okay to go by yourself?" I asked casually, trying not to sound suspicious. She smiled, that flawless, practiced smile. "Of course, love. I'll be back soon." I nodded, forcing calm over my storm. But the moment she left, I grabbed my coat and slipped out the door. My heart pounded in my ears. I wasn't sure why I felt compelled to follow her, only that I had to know. I trailed her quietly, keeping a safe distance. The streets were dim, the night thick with the hum of distant cars. My stomach twisted as we approached a cafe I didn't recognize. Emily didn't go inside. She paused, checking around, then entered. I ducked behind a brick wall across the street, barely breathing. The lights inside glowed warmly, illuminating her face. And then I saw him. Ryan. He stood leaning casually, but there was an intensity in his gaze, the kind that belonged to someone you can't ignore. Emily's shoulders shook before I realized she was crying. My chest constricted. I wanted to run in, to grab her and scream at her, but my legs felt frozen. "You can't keep lying to him forever," Ryan said, his voice calm but firm. I know," Emily whispered, her words muffled by her hands covering her face. I don't want to lose either of you." The world blurred around me. My hands trembled. I gripped the wall as if holding on could stop the pain, but it didn't. The betrayal hit like a physical blow. The Emily I thought I knew was here, confessing to someone else, someone from her past. "I can't fix this for you," Ryan said softly. "You have to choose. And if you keep going like this, you'll hurt him more than you realize." I don't know what to do," she sobbed. My heart pounded so loudly I was sure they could hear it. I wanted to confront them, demand explanations, but fear and disbelief rooted me to the spot. Instead, I stayed hidden, listening to their conversation unravel my world. After what felt like an eternity, Emily wiped her tears and nodded at Ryan. I understand, she said quietly. Ryan's expression softened. Good. Do what's right. Don't drag him into this any longer. I watched them part ways. Ryan left first, walking casually into the night, leaving her alone. She lingered for a moment, her head bowed before stepping outside. My chest tightened again as she walked back toward our street, heading home as if nothing had happened. When she opened the door, she smiled at me, that same warm, radiant smile. I'm back, she said, slipping into my arms. Did you miss me? I hugged her, feeling the weight of what I had just witnessed. My body trembled, but I forced my face calm. Of course, I murmured, even as my mind screamed in chaos. She rested her head against my chest. I missed you too, she whispered. I held her tightly, pretending everything was fine. The smell of her hair, the softness of her touch, it all mocked me. My mind raced with anger, betrayal, confusion. How could someone I loved so deeply hide this from me? She pulled back slightly, looking up at me with those trusting eyes. You've been quiet all evening. Everything okay? Yeah, I said, voice steady. Just tired, I guess. Her smile returned, and I knew she didn't suspect a thing. And yet, I could feel the seed of doubt growing, twisting, burning inside me. Tonight I had seen the truth. Emily had a life, a past that she kept hidden. And it had come crashing into mine. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, to make her feel the betrayal she'd caused. But instead, I let the silence grow, letting my thoughts spiral. Anger, heartbreak, disbelief, they collided inside me like storms. I stayed with her on the couch, pretending to relax while inside I was breaking. The Emily who smiled at me, who held my hand, who whispered words of love, was no longer the only Emily I knew. And the worst part, I didn't know if I would ever trust her again. I stayed awake long after Emily went to bed, heart hammering with a mix of suspicion and dread. Her words to Ryan had haunted me since the night I followed her. I couldn't let it go. Something inside me demanded proof, confirmation, anything that could explain the gnawing unease. I pulled my phone from the bedside drawer and opened the voice recorder app. Quietly, so she wouldn't hear, I positioned it near the living room. My hand shook as I pressed record, telling myself it was for clarity, for the truth. Moments later, I heard footsteps and the soft click of the front door. Ryan's voice was low, familiar, and devastating. I miss you, Emily whispered. I miss you too, Ryan replied, calm yet distant. But you can't keep doing this. You're hurting him without even realizing it. I know, she said, voice cracking. I love you. And I love him. I don't know how to let go of either of you. I froze, my stomach dropping as if someone had punched me in the gut. Love for both of them. My Emily, my fiancée, confessing to loving the man who had no right to her anymore. My hands shook violently as the words replayed in my head. Emily, you have to choose, Ryan said softly. This is destroying you too. I'm scared, she admitted, tears audible. I don't want to lose either of you. I can't bear it. I felt my world crumbling. The Emily I thought I knew, the woman who smiled at me, whispered my name, held my hand, was hiding a part of herself so deep I didn't even sense it. I sank onto the edge of the bed, my phone still recording, listening to the truth slice through me. Hours passed, or maybe minutes, I couldn't tell. The conversation ended. Silence followed. I pressed stop on the recorder and sat motionless, tears blurring my vision. My mind screamed, and my heart ached in a rhythm I couldn't control. Later, I called her mother under the pretense of checking in. Mrs. Langley, how is Emily tonight? I asked, trying to sound casual. Oh, she's fine, dear. She just seemed a little distracted. Work has been stressful, you know? Her voice was warm, but I detected an undercurrent of concern. Why do you ask? Just wanted to make sure she's okay, I said. She means a lot to me. Of course, sweetie. I'll talk to her if anything's wrong, her mother replied. I hung up, but the dread had only grown heavier. I couldn't stay in the room any longer. I paced, fists clenched, replaying Emily's words again and again. Every smile, every I love you, suddenly felt like a dagger twisting in my chest. How could she lie so perfectly? How could someone I trusted so fully hide something so monumental? And then she appeared at the door, wearing that innocent, tired expression that made me want to believe everything again. Can we talk? I asked, my voice trembling, barely controlled. Her eyes widened. I didn't hear you come in. I took a step closer, unable to stop the flood of emotions. Emily, I heard everything. She paled. What do you mean? I mean your conversation with Ryan. I heard you say you love both of us. Her lips trembled. I can explain. No, don't. I don't want explanations that justify betrayal. I trusted you. My voice cracked, tears spilling down my cheeks. I gave you everything and this is how you repay me? I didn't mean to hurt you, she cried, stepping forward. I swear I never wanted. Stop. I yelled, the sound echoing through the apartment. You've destroyed something I can't fix. You've lied to me every time I looked into your eyes and believed you. Do you know what that feels like? I was scared, she sobbed, voice breaking. I didn't want to lose either of you. I thought I could handle it, but I can't. You can't handle honesty, apparently. I shouted. I deserve the truth. I deserve to be your world, but you kept another man in the shadows, whispering to your heart. The sound of her crying filled the room, a haunting echo of the love I had once felt. I could hear a knock at the door, our neighbor, muttering apologies for the noise. I ignored it, consumed by the storm raging between us. I love you, she cried, throwing herself toward me. I can't choose. I don't want to lose either of you. I stepped back, shaking my head, my own tears unstoppable. You don't get to love like that. Not me. Not anymore. Her shoulders slumped. The fight left her eyes, replaced by despair. Please, don't leave me. I already am, I whispered, voice hoarse. I already am. I turned, grabbing my coat. She collapsed to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably, hands clutching the carpet like it could hold her together. My heart broke all over again, but I couldn't stay. I had to leave before the anger and betrayal consumed me entirely. As I walked out into the cold night, I realized something terrifying. I had loved blindly, trusted fully, and now I had nothing. Emily's confession had shattered the illusion, and I was left standing in the wreckage, unsure if I would ever be whole again. I didn't look back. The truth had burned everything to ashes. I couldn't stay in my apartment any longer. The walls felt like they were closing in, suffocating me with memories of Emily's lies. I grabbed my coat and keys, ignoring the chill outside, and drove aimlessly until I found myself at Lucas's apartment. Hey, Lucas opened the door, eyebrows raised. You look like hell. Thanks, I muttered, stepping inside. My voice sounded hollow even to me. Sit. Drink. Or all three, he said, guiding me to the couch. I slumped into the cushions like a rag doll. I can't believe her, I whispered, barely audible. I trusted her. I loved her. And she, my voice broke, the words lodged in my throat. Lucas sat beside me, arms crossed. I know, man. I know. But you've got to let it out. You can't keep swallowing it all. I don't even know what to feel anymore, I admitted. Anger, betrayal, sadness, all at once. It's like someone's torn me apart from the inside. Lucas leaned back, staring at me with calm intensity. People who lie like that, they always unravel eventually. You'll see. The truth has a way of catching up. I keep thinking about Ryan, I said, running my hands over my face. Every word she said, every moment I believed her. Lucas put a hand on my shoulder. Don't blame yourself. You did everything right. She chose this path. Not you. Just then a small voice piped up. Hey, you're sulking again? Ethan, Lucas's younger brother, peeked from the kitchen doorway, grinning like a mischievous child. Come on, cheer up. We could order pizza, watch something dumb, like, I dunno, raccoon documentaries? I managed a bitter laugh. Not really in the mood for raccoons right now. Yeah, but food helps, Ethan persisted. Plus, I can offer my top-tier emotional support, completely free of charge. Lucas snorted. Thanks for the moral support, little man. But right now he needs to talk, not raccoons. Ethan shrugged and retreated, muttering, Fine. But you're lost, dude. I exhaled slowly, feeling slightly lighter just from having someone nearby. I don't know how she could do this. I gave her everything. My trust, my heart. And she squandered it, Lucas finished for me. But that's her problem, not yours. The pain is yours now, yes, but it's teaching you something. You're learning who's worth your heart, and who's not. I nodded, though it did little to calm the storm inside. My phone buzzed. Mark. I answered automatically, voice cracking slightly. Hey man. Just checking on you. You okay? Mark asked. Concern laced every word. I don't know, I admitted. I feel lost. Wait. Like I'm drifting. Don't fight it alone, he said gently. Call me whenever you need. Seriously. I will, I whispered, grateful yet embarrassed by my vulnerability. Lucas leaned forward. You're not weak for feeling this, not at all. The fact that you're here talking, even crying, that's strength. Most people bottle it up until they explode. I feel like I'm falling apart, I said, voice trembling. And I don't know if I can put myself back together. You will, Lucas said firmly. It's painful, but it's also necessary. People like Emily, they face consequences eventually. And you? You'll rise from this. Stronger. Wiser. Ready for the right people in your life. I swallowed hard, feeling a flicker of hope amidst the chaos in my chest. I needed someone to tell me it's not all my fault. Never was, Lucas said. Never will be. For the first time that day I let myself breathe. The weight of betrayal was still heavy, but with Lucas there, with Ethan's ridiculous attempts at lightening the mood and Mark's quiet concern, I felt a little less alone. It didn't fix everything. It didn't erase the pain. But for the first time I saw a path forward. Fragile, uncertain, but real. And maybe, just maybe, I could survive this. I was sitting on my balcony, nursing a glass of whiskey, when my phone buzzed for the 10th time that hour. Emily. Her name flashed relentlessly, messages piling up. Please, I didn't mean to hurt you. I was scared, I swear. I can't lose you. I didn't reply. I let it sit. Each ping made me feel a strange cocktail of guilt and relief. Part of me wanted to scream at her. Part of me wanted to see how far this would go. Lucas appeared behind me, arms crossed. You ignoring her again? I can't deal with it, I admitted. She's relentless. You've given her space, Lucas said. It's her own chaos catching up. She's outside your apartment too, a voice piped up. James, Lucas's friend, leaned casually against the railing. I saw her, crying, holding her phone like it's a lifeline. I stared at him. And you're telling me this too? Perspective, he said. It's brutal watching someone crumble because they thought they were untouchable. I nodded, not taking my eyes off the street below. Emily, drenched in evening shadows, stood trembling, phone clutched tightly. She looked so small, so vulnerable. And yet, I felt no rush to rescue her. Lucas grunted. See, karma doesn't need my help. It has its own timetable. I exhaled slowly. I can't decide if I should feel guilty or satisfied. Both are natural, James said. You loved her. You trusted her. Watching her self-destruct, it's painful and relieving at the same time. My phone buzzed again. Claire. Emily's sister. I opened the message. Please talk to her. She hasn't eaten, she cries all the time. I'm scared for her. I stared at the words. My chest tightened. I had wanted her to face consequences, yes, but seeing her like this, it hurt more than I expected. Lucas leaned back, lighting a cigarette. This is the side you never see coming, the guilt. You wanted justice, but empathy doesn't switch off overnight. I don't know if I can answer her, I admitted, feeling a knot form in my stomach. Part of me wants her to feel exactly what I felt. James smirked. And she will. She's unraveling faster than you imagine. Work's slipping, her friends are noticing, even Sarah from her office is gossiping. You don't need to intervene, she's doing it herself. I thought about Sarah's text that Lucas had shown me. Emily was crying at her desk. Missed deadlines. Looks completely lost. Every small detail made my relief bitter. She was powerful, charming, untouchable. Now she looked helpless. She called Ryan again, Lucas muttered. He's done. Told her he won't be part of her drama. A sharp pang hit me, but it wasn't regret. It was clarity. The illusion of control she had wielded over me was gone. She was alone. And the world she tried to manipulate had turned against her. I drained my glass. I don't feel victorious, but I feel free. James nodded. Freedom has a strange weight. It doesn't feel like celebration. It feels like breathing after holding your breath for years. I watched Emily from above, shoulders shaking as the night swallowed her figure. She kept her phone pressed to her ear, but I knew. She was speaking to no one now who could rescue her. Lucas exhaled smoke slowly. You're not cruel for not answering. You're smart. She needs to face herself. I wanted to walk down there, to reach out, to say something, anything. But I stayed put. Let her weep. Let her see what betrayal looks like when it's returned. Her life was unraveling quietly, perfectly, and I could finally breathe without guilt clawing at me every second. Do you think she'll ever learn? I asked, almost to myself. James shrugged. Maybe. Or maybe she'll just remember the pain and never repeat it. That's enough. I let the night settle around me, watching karma do its work. No fireworks, no drama, just quiet collapse. And for the first time in weeks, I felt in control again. The knock at my door was hesitant, almost timid. I didn't answer immediately. My chest felt heavy and I didn't know if I wanted to face her. The knock came again, firmer this time. "Please, just let me in," Emily's voice trembled through the wood. I opened the door slowly, letting the sight of her sink in. She looked fragile, shoulders hunched, tears glistening in her eyes. The woman who once commanded rooms now seemed lost, almost small. I need to talk to you," she stammered. I didn't say anything. I stepped aside, letting her in. She hesitated in the hallway, glancing at me like she was searching for forgiveness in my expression. I'm so sorry," she started, her voice breaking. "I never meant to hurt you. I was scared. Scared of losing you, scared of letting go of Ryan, and I made mistakes. Terrible mistakes." I closed my eyes for a moment, trying to steady the surge of emotions I felt. Betrayal, anger, sorrow, it all mingled into a numbness that wrapped around my chest. "Emily," I said finally, my voice low, steady, "do you have any idea what you've done?" She shook her head violently. "Yes, I do. I lied because I loved you. I thought I could manage it all, but I failed. I see that now. I see how much I've hurt you." Her hands trembled as she reached out, but I took a step back. "Don't," I warned softly. I want you to understand. I never stopped loving you," she pleaded, voice cracking. "I just didn't know how to let go of the past. I thought I could have both, but I see now it was impossible. Please, don't leave me. I can't lose you." Her words hit me, but instead of the usual rush of emotion, I felt an icy distance settle over me. I studied her face, seeing the raw vulnerability, the fear, the regret. But I couldn't let myself fall back into the love that had blinded me. "Emily," I said slowly, deliberately, "you didn't just hurt me. You destroyed something inside me that I can never rebuild. You didn't break me, you shattered trust, love, and belief in us. That's gone. Irretrievably gone." Her knees buckled slightly and she sank to the floor, hands clutching at her chest. Tears streamed freely, her sobs echoing in the quiet apartment. Please forgive me. I'll do anything." "Oh." I knelt slightly to meet her gaze, but not to comfort. "Forgiveness doesn't erase what you did. And I am no longer the man who would blindly forgive." She pressed her palms to the floor, her face buried in them, shaking uncontrollably. I can't live like this, without you. I can't," she whispered, voice barely audible. I stood, looking down at her collapse. The Emily I loved, the one I had dreamt a life with, was gone. In her place was a woman facing the consequences of choices she had made. "I'm walking away," I said, my voice quiet but firm. "Not out of anger, not out of malice, but because I need peace. And you need to face the life you've built with lies." Her body shuddered at my words. I could see the weight of realization in her posture, the raw pain of understanding that the life she wanted with me was gone, and it was entirely of her own making. I don't deserve this," she whispered, barely audible. "No, Emily," I said, turning toward the door. "You deserve to see the outcome of your actions. You've chosen this path, and now you must walk it alone." I opened the door and stepped out into the hallway. Each step away from her felt like reclaiming a part of myself I thought I'd lost forever. Behind me, her sobs echoed faintly, a haunting reminder of what love turned into betrayal can leave behind. I didn't look back. I walked on, letting the apartment fade from view, letting her tears mark the end of a chapter that was never meant to be rewritten. Weeks had passed since that night. I woke up one morning and realized I hadn't felt the crushing weight of her lies pressing on my chest for days. It was subtle at first, a small relief when I brewed my coffee, a lighter step when I left the apartment. Slowly I started reclaiming myself. "Morning, Alex," Rachel greeted cheerfully as I entered the office. She was new, fresh energy, a spark that made the dull fluorescent lights feel softer somehow. "Morning," I replied, forcing a smile that didn't feel fake. "You look different," she said, tilting her head slightly, eyes curious. "Different how?" I asked, leaning against my desk. "More at ease. Like you're not carrying the world on your shoulders," she said, and for the first time in weeks, I felt she might be right. I chuckled lightly, shrugging. Maybe I finally started putting one foot in front of the other. The days blurred into work, emails, and late-night calls. Mr. Anderson called me into his office one afternoon. "Alex, I've been watching your performance these past weeks," he began, leaning back in his chair. "I don't just see improvement, I see someone who's finally confident in his own work. I like it. Keep this up." "Thank you, sir," I said, trying to hide the surge of pride. Inside, a small spark of self-worth had ignited, one that had been smothered by heartbreak. Outside work, I started reconnecting with Lucas. He'd been a lifeline before, and now his presence felt comforting rather than invasive. "You seem lighter," he remarked one evening as we shared beers. "I can actually see Alex again, not just the mess Emily left behind." "I am," I admitted, sipping my drink. "It's taken work, but I'm moving forward." Ethan, his younger brother, poked at me with a grin. "Look at you, all grown up and broody, still cute though. Who knew heartbreak could make a man so handsome?" I laughed, shaking my head. "Stop flattering me, you're drunk." He shrugged, grinning mischievously. "Maybe. But seriously, you're doing good, Alex. I can see it." Evenings became quieter, simpler. I found peace in small routines, reading, late-night walks, and coffee at the corner cafe where no one expected me to smile. Life, slowly but surely, started feeling mine again. Meanwhile, news about Emily trickled in through whispers and occasional calls. Sarah from her office told me her projects were failing, deadlines missed. Claire called occasionally, sounding strained, worried about her sister's health and stability. And Ryan? He was gone, distant, leaving her to navigate the consequences she had ignored for so long. One night, my phone vibrated with a message. It was Emily. I froze for a moment before opening it. "Your silence hurt more than your anger ever did." I stared at it, feeling no panic, no craving to respond. Just calm. I set the phone down without replying, letting the words hang in the air. My peace was intact, unshaken. Rachel stopped by my desk that afternoon. "Hey, coffee later?" "You could use a break," she suggested, eyes soft with encouragement. "Yeah. I think I could," I said, a small smile tugging at my lips. There was warmth in sharing life again, in letting someone new step into the spaces Emily had left empty. Lucas sent a text around the same time. "Don't forget, you earned this. You're allowed to be happy now." I stared at it and nodded silently, feeling the weight of those words sink deep into me. I had survived the lies, the betrayal, the heartbreak. And I had risen. That night, as I walked home under the soft glow of streetlights, I reflected on the past weeks. The emptiness I had once felt was no longer a void. It was space for growth, for strength, for the life I had chosen. Emily's ruins didn't give me satisfaction. Karma had unfolded naturally, and I was free from the obsession, the pain, and the illusions. At my apartment, I poured a glass of wine and watched the city lights flicker. I thought of Emily, of her struggles, her loss. There was a strange sense of closure, like watching a storm pass from a distance. I had moved past needing her explanations, past hoping she would change. Instead, I focused on me, on my career, on new friendships, on small joys that she could never take from me. The anger, the sorrow, and the heartbreak had been transformed into quiet strength. Rachel's laughter echoed in my memory from earlier in the day, a reminder that life wasn't just survival. It could be light, bright, and unexpectedly beautiful. And for the first time in months, I let myself feel that possibility fully, without guilt or hesitation. Emily's message remained unread, unanswered, a relic of a past that had lost its hold over me. I was at peace. I had risen. And while her world crumbled, mine finally started to shine. The knock on my door was soft, hesitant. I opened it to see Emily standing there. She looked different, tired, almost hollow, yet something softer lingered in her eyes. Can we talk?" she whispered, voice trembling. I stepped aside, letting her in. "You wanted to meet." "Here we are," I said, keeping my tone neutral, steady. She sank onto the edge of the sofa, hands twisting nervously. I didn't know how else to say this. "I'm sorry. For everything. Every lie, every moment I made you doubt me." I watched her, feeling nothing and everything at once. "Emily, you said your piece. Words alone can't undo months of what happened." "I know. I don't expect them to. I needed you to hear it from me. My absence, the space I left, it taught me what honesty really means, what truth feels like. I still love you, but I understand if you can't come back. I wouldn't blame you." The old me might have fallen to his knees, begged her to stay. But that man no longer existed. "I forgive you," I said, voice calm, unshaken. "I can forgive because I've grown beyond the hurt. But my heart, it's not yours to claim anymore." Her eyes glistened with tears and she tried to smile. I hoped you'd still want me somehow." "I wanted you once," I admitted quietly. "But that time is gone. I've learned to find strength in myself, in my life apart from you. Forgiving you isn't for us, it's for me." She nodded, letting the silence stretch. "I deserve to lose you," she murmured, voice breaking. "I thought love meant possession, but I see now, it's not about keeping someone. It's about being truthful. I felt no triumph, only a quiet weight lifting. Truth is heavy, I said. But it frees you. And it frees me. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. I could see the surrender in her posture, the understanding in her gaze. She had finally learned, even if too late. I guess, goodbye then, she said softly, almost to herself. Goodbye, Emily, I replied, standing. My chest no longer ached for her. The past was behind me. The closure wasn't dramatic. No shouting, no pleading, but it was enough. She turned and left, the door clicking softly behind her. I exhaled, a weight lifting from my shoulders. I was free. And in that quiet, empty apartment, I felt the first spark of peace I'd known in months. The morning sun hit my face, soft and golden, and I realized I hadn't felt this calm in months. I sat at the kitchen table, sipping my coffee, watching the city wake up. My phone buzzed once. Emily. I didn't open it. I knew what it said. Lucas called later. Hey man, you okay? I'm better, I admitted, leaning back. Better than I expected to be. You sound different, he said, concern mixed with curiosity. Like, lighter? I smiled faintly. I think I finally let go. Of her, of everything that dragged me down. You mean Emily? Yes. I forgive her, but that chapter of my life is closed. He laughed softly. Man, you sound like a philosopher now. I shrugged. Maybe I am. Or maybe I'm just tired of carrying anger that isn't mine to hold. That night, I walked past the cafe where I once saw her with Ryan. Memories hit. Laughter, lies, tears. I stopped, looked in, and for a moment I almost wanted to go in. But I didn't. I let the past sit where it belonged. At home, Rachel waved from across the office a few days later, cheerful and bright. You're smiling more these days, she said. I guess I am, I said. Feels like freedom. Finally. She laughed lightly. That's good. You deserve it. I nodded. I learned something. Some people, they teach you lessons too late. Some wounds, they turn into strength instead of scars. Rachel tilted her head. That sounds profound. I smiled honestly this time. It's simple, really. I was blinded by love, by trust. But now, I see myself. I see what matters. That evening my phone buzzed again. Emily. Another message. I didn't look. I didn't need to. Her tears might have saved her from sinking deeper, but they couldn't undo what was lost. My heart no longer shook for her. I walked to my balcony, city lights glittering like distant stars. I breathed in deeply, feeling the air fill my lungs, feeling the peace settle into my chest. I was stronger. I was free. The past was behind me. Every betrayal, every heartbreak, every lie had forged me into someone who could walk forward without dragging the weight of pain. I whispered into the quiet night, I'm done. I'm free. And for the first time in what felt like forever, I meant it.